Carolina's going to be back to their rightful place of a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament this season, right?
This is Tyler Hansbrough, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, what's up? It's Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025. Crazy. Coach Rob, I forgot to mention this. It's my dad's 70th birthday. Happy birthday, Scott Schade. I love you. I'm so thankful to call you Dad. You're the best. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Schade. You're joining me at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks so much for making us your first listener watch to get y'all Tuesday going the right way. Special shout out to all the everydayers who are here, all the members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, and of course our Locked On Tar Heels insiders. I already called your attention to it, but joining me today earlier in the week than usual is our good buddy, Coach Bill Robinson, the head coach of the Milligan University Buffaloes and the 2-decade veteran of Carolina Basketball School, North Carolina's summer camps. He's written a phenomenal book about the Carolina Basketball School. Carolina Basketball School, very aptly named, Coach. Well done. History, stories, and drills. Make sure you check it out. You can find it at Amazon, or if you want a signed copy, email Coach Rob directly and we can get that rolling for you. Coach, I'm excited about today's show. I feel like I might as well be Bob Barker because we're playing some games today. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to start by playing red light, green light, yellow light. I've got a couple statements and Coach will give his red light, green light, yellow light answer. I'll do the same, but he's going to go first. Second segment, we got 2 over-unders, and I think I got some diabolical numbers on it that's going to give Coach a hard time choosing his over-under. I think I might have a hard time with it myself. And I teased this on last Thursday's show when Coach Rob was with us, but wrapping up the show today, we're going to have Trivia Tuesday in segment 3. It's going to be like a couple weeks ago where I've come up with the question, but I have not looked ahead at the answers. So Coach Rob and I are going to work in tandem to see if we can get the correct answers or if you're all going to blow us out of the water. Coach, I have full faith that we are going to do okay at worst. Okay, there we go. That's how it's going to be. Let's get right into yellow light, red light, green light, or whatever order you want to do these colors. So here's how this works, folks. I make a statement about the upcoming season, and Coach will either red light it because it ain't going to happen, green light it because it's definitely going to happen, or if he wants to be a fence rider, which is really a coward's way out, he will yellow light it and say, maybe it'll happen. So, Coach, here is the very first statement. Number 1, North Carolina will be a top 4 seed in the 2026 NCAA tournament. Coach Rob, red, yellow, or green?
Well, because you said it that way, I have to go with yellow at least once today. I'm yellow with this is only because Luka's not in town yet. If Luka's in town, it's green. And I think that's a safe bet with him being there. The talent level's going up. But I think if with all the international problems right now, we're trying to get international players. We're dealing with the exact same thing. We're dealing with some issues right now, just being able to get kids back to the U.S. So I'm a little bit more worried now than I was, and hopefully by the time this post, Luka's in town and Luka's back part of it. But with him, it's a green. I think we're definitely a top 4 seed. Without him, I'm a little more nervous. I think it could still happen, but I think Luka puts us over the top.
You know what? That's fine because I completely actually agree with you. Because of the unknown of Luka, I don't think we have an option but to yellow light this. Here, let me ask it to you this way, Coach. If something falls through and Luka doesn't come or is unable to come or doesn't get to Carolina till like basically school starts in August and is worked into the team, but he's not really able to be full go and fully know everything until, December, January, February. What would you do then? How about, I'll put it this way. Luka is not part of the 25-26 Tar Heels. What color do you give it?
It's a red if he's not part of it at all. If he shows up and he's there in August, it's still green for me. I don't really feel sorry for the programs that don't get to practice until September with everybody because we don't get to practice until September with everybody. So, that's just part of what the old school was. And life's changed and they're practicing now, which is great for them. But I don't think it really matters that much with Luka. One, because he's an older guy who's played professionally and he's been around basketball. It's not going to be hard for him to pick up the system stuff or how to play with each other. So I don't think it's that big of a deal for him. I think it would be a bigger deal if it was a highly recruited freshman who really hadn't been part of a program like that. That to me is a big deal that he's already been able to play professionally for such a long time. So with him, yeah, green. I think yellow until he gets here.
That makes a ton of sense. That's so well said about his prior experience and how that will pay dividends if and when he eventually gets to campus, coach. Great points there. All right, here is our second red light, yellow light, green light. Seth Trimble will have 5 or more 20-point games in the 25-26 season. Coach, before you answer, let me give you a little bit of context for this. Seth, in his career, only has one 20-point game. So this might seem like a little bit of a far cry. He had those 27 points last year against Dayton in Maui. But he has 6 other career games, all of which, by the way, were last season, of 17 or more points. So he has 7 total career games of 17 or more points. And I know it was an exhibition game, but with no RJ Davis last year at Memphis on the road, he had an over 20-point game. That said, Coach, do Seth Trimble 5 or more 20-point games this season?
It's a red light for me with him. I just don't think he's going to get the shot attempts. And I do think he's going to get guarded by the best guard defender, that they're going to face. So I'm not down on him at all. I still think he's going to average 15 a game, but I think he'll have a couple 20-point games or plus. But I don't think he's going to have 5. But I do think he's still going to be second or third in scoring for the team. I still think he's going to have a great year. I just don't think they need him to score 20 a game. With the other guys, I just don't think that has to be his role. I think he could be the leading scorer and still not have to have big games like that.
That, my friend, is the critical word. Ding, ding, ding. You hit the golden word or whatever kind of game show thing we need to do to give you bonus points for that. I think I am right with you that Carolina doesn't need Seth to score 20 a game to be successful. And that is not a bad thing. That is a great thing. Now, if he does it, awesome. But if he does it because it's taking shots from guys that maybe should be shooting more, depending on if Seth's 3-point shot is back to pre-injury version, that'll be a critical factor in that as well. And I think you said it so well there, Coach. It's like I'm still expecting him to get an average of 14, 15 a game, be the team's second or third leading scorer. Let me ask it to you this way, based on what you just said. In terms of distribution of shots, who on this team, let's assume Luka's presence, who on this team would you want to have the highest percentage of shots for North Carolina based on what you've seen in your time there in Chapel Hill and based on what you've seen on film, at least from Luka?
Yeah, guards usually tend to shoot more, partly because of the transition game the way it is and because late shot clock put the ball in the hands of a guard, and usually you're making plays late and they end up taking more shots. Caleb Wilson needs to be the guy who takes the most shots. And that's just my personal feeling. He's my opinion, he's the most talented player. We had a coach in watching pickup one night said they just need to give Caleb the keys. Now that's a huge statement coming from, a camp coach who's seen, 30 years worth of open gyms, for somebody to say that to him so quickly. But he's right. I mean, he's the most talented guy, and you want the most talented guy to take the most shots. How they determine that, again, there's this conflict right now between, concepts and sets and how you run stuff. And everybody's going towards the concepts. When you run sets, you can determine who gets shots and where. So that's why I like to run sets, because if I have somebody, my best shooter just hit 2 threes, we're going to run something to get him another shot. And when you have concepts, it don't necessarily, you have to have more balance. And this team has a lot of balance, but yeah. I also would like, as a coach, to be able to have ways for me to get Caleb shots, when he's hot, whenever, to be able to get him the shots that very next time down the floor. So I do think they're going towards more concepts, but they're still running some sets too. I think you need to be able to do a little bit of both. Balance is important.
Yeah, man. And it seems like this is a team that has it more than last year's team did, for example, where so often it had to be RJ. All right, Coach, we're going to switch from the traffic signal to over under. How many dubs is Carolina going to get in the non-conference portion of the schedule? It seems like a more favorable lineup, but we'll see Coach's answer coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about game time. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. Well, that's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. And with the money you save on those tickets, you can splurge on food and drinks and merch and other great stuff. Game Time makes all of that possible. They also make buying your tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they've got incredible last minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Man, looking ahead to football season, Labor Day ain't too far away, about a month and a half. Tickets for the UNC hosting TCU game on Labor Day, low price, get in the door right now of $159. Check it out. You're not going to want to miss the first game of the Bill Belichick era. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Terms apply. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. All right, Coach, we changed from paying attention to traffic patterns to now looking at over-unders. And basically what's going to happen, folks, is I'm going to give Coach a stat, a number, whatever it is, and he's going to tell me over-under. So we're going to start with the non-conference schedule, which, as a reminder, now has 13 games in it because the ACC went down to 18 conference games. So, Coach, Carolina obviously has scaled back on the intensity of the non-conference schedule this year. With that in mind, I'm going to set the over-under at 11.5 wins out of the 13 games. And I know that sounds steep, but let me remind everyone of the schedule. And then, Coach, we can approach this however you want. If you want to go game by game and give me a win or loss, and that can help you, whatever's best, let me read the schedule and then we'll approach it. Game 1, hosting Central Arkansas, then hosting Kansas, then hosting Radford, then hosting NC Central, then hosting Navy. Man, that's a lot of hosting to start the season. Then Fort Myers tip-off, playing St. Bonaventure first, day off, and then Michigan State on Turkey Day. Then heading down to Rupp Arena to play Kentucky. Then hosting Georgetown, hosting USC Upstate, hosting ETSU, Ohio State for the CBS Sports Classic, and wrapping with ECU. So, Coach, that is, obviously a lot more bye games than we're typically used to. And so it might come down to, can Carolina hold serve in all those bye games? And then how many of those high major games do they win? Maybe that's the approach here. You tell me how you want to approach over under on these 11.5 wins that I've set it at.
I would think that, there's 5, kind of Power 5 conference games, non-conference games they have. Those are the ones I think. I would think the other ones, they're 8 games or games they have to win those games, obviously. So what do you have? You have Georgetown, Kansas, Kentucky, Ohio
Michigan State, and Ohio State. Yep, are the 5 high major games.
Then to be over 11.5, they'd have to win 4 of those 5.
Just.
Is that right?
That's correct. Yep.
I think that's probably a really tough task considering how many new guys they have and how early some of those games are going to be played. Kansas game especially, even though it's at home, it's going to be big. The other games are neutral sites. Are they? Georgetown's at home?
Georgetown's at home.
I think that's a game they should win. So maybe it just comes to those 4 games. Having to win 3 out of those. I would say probably under because I think they'll end up 2-2 in those games. That's my thought. In
retrospect, I'm mad at myself for not setting it at 10.5 because I think 11-2 versus 10-3 would have made you think more hard about it. So let's retroactively do that. And you're saying if you think they can go 2-2 in those games, so would you go over on 10.5?
Correct. I think 11-2 is probably a really good non-conference, display. Kentucky's going to be really good. Ohio State's going to be solid. Obviously, Michigan State's great every year. and just playing against Izzo. But Carolina has played really well against Izzo over the years. So um, that's the old Jack Frost curse, and we can talk about that later. But I do love, 11-2 would be something I think would be a great non-conference, record going into conference play.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the right thing. And coach, I'm very now frustrated at myself for not setting the over under at 10.5. But still led to an interesting conversation. And I think you're right. Carolina has to take care of business in those 8 games against non-high major opponents. Obviously, St. Bonaventure, with them being an A10 school, that's a little bit of a different conversation, but still got to win that game. And then it's about going 3-2 against the 5 high major schools in some combination, right? I think is the critical thing there. So we will keep our eyes on all of that. That's a fun one. All right, coach, we go from the beginning of the season in non-conference play to literally after the season. And we're now going to look at the NBA draft of 2026. So the second over under for you is this: 1.5 Tar Heels drafted in the 2026 NBA draft. Coach, over under on 1.5.
I'm going to stay under. I think Caleb, we all know Caleb's going to go, being a top 10 already projected pick. Henri's got 2 years, correct?
Correct.
I'm really hopeful that he will stay for both years. And I think even if he has a really good year, a solid year, I think he's very possibly could come back for that extra year. If he has a great year, I think he's gone. I don't see the freshman, going. I don't see Jonathan Powell, going, at least not right away. So I think solid one. I don't see a second one right now. Jarin Stevenson, I think could end up he's going to play pro somewhere. I don't think it's the NBA right now. I think he'll get a summer league opportunity to play, but I don't think he'll get drafted. Yeah. That's just how I feel right now. Now things could change if they play well, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Yep. And that's exactly why I said it at 1.5, coach, because I think Caleb, it just feels like a safer floor than either Drake Powell or Ian Jackson last year, for example, right? I just think the two-way capability is just too strong, the size, the length, the athleticism. And that's why I said it at 1.5. Is there another Tar Heel outside of Caleb that gets drafted this year? And that's the question.
The other one is Luka, and he's just the wild card right now. I don't know. And from the conversations I've had, he's already been a pro in Europe. If he has a big year, his size and his skill set, he's somebody who could maybe sneak into a mid-late second round. I don't think he's projected. I don't look at any of that stuff. I don't look at the NBA just a year. It doesn't have anything to do with me and my program. Sure. But I do think he's got the skill set. He's got the size, and he's got be honest, he's got that game that maybe translates into the NBA game better than others. So, if he is who we think he could be, he's somebody who might sneak into a second round.
Yeah. And we're starting to see multiple of these Euro guys that are coming to the college ranks because of NIL that otherwise would have stayed in Europe or other leagues and been drafted from there. Some examples from literally this past season are Yegor Demon at BYU, Kasparis Yakichonis at Illinois that ended up getting drafted in the lottery, for example. And so, there is precedent for it. And so, coach, I'll tell you what, I think we've been aligned on all of ours so far. So I'll take a flyer on one of the what if guys that you just talked about, and I'll go over, but 2, right? I'm not going way over. We're not saying that, but it's a very interesting conversation. There's so much intriguing potential with this team, but so much unknown. And that's what makes it a fun season ahead, but a potentially scary season ahead. And so I'm nervously anticipating what is to come. And obviously we didn't say Seth's name in that conversation, right? Like his athleticism and defensive capability could get him a look. I don't know that it's there ultimately, but I think he can find, as you said about a couple of the other guys, a professional place to play somewhere because of that skill set. And we saw that with JP before him.
His athleticism will get him enough interest that scouts will come in and want to see him. And again, it's about his jump shot. If he can develop into a consistent 3-point shooter with the athleticism he has, But I do think he'll get an invite to Summer League and see how things go, in a year from now, unless he just has a blow up season, which he could.
He could.
I do think he's poised, and I really would like to see him just have a breakout year. But there's a lot of questions. You were talking about a fun but scary year. From a coaching perspective, it's a lot of fun. This is what it's all about. It's to have a bunch of guys that are new and now you've got a coach. There's so many questions out there and who's going to play, who's going to fit into this and that. And that's really what makes coaching fun.
I love it. All right, Coach. Speaking of scary, it's time for Trivia Tuesday. We have no idea how this is going to go, but we're going to do our very best. Maybe between our two brains, we can get the power of one and get a bunch of these answers right. Here we go. Trivia Tuesday on the other side of the break in just a second. Right after I tell you about Monarch Money. Do you ever wish managing your money felt easier? Well, with Monarch Money, guess what? It can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning for a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility of and control over all your finances. And Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center where you can track all your accounts, your investments, and spending all in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth, and that's great news. Something I've found that I really love is having everything financial right there in just one app. So instead of having to go around to a bunch of different financial apps or creating a folder on my phone that's got a whole litany of them, nah. It's all right there at Monarch. And that makes managing the day-to-day finances so much easier. So join me, take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Again, that's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. All right, Coach Rob, I don't know about you. I see it in your face. You look a little bit scared. I feel it in my bones. I'm a little bit scared, but you know what? We are grown men and we can do hard things, Coach. So that's what we're going to try to do. Last week we had a trivia, or 2 weeks ago, we had a Trivia Tuesday answer with 10 questions. I said to play along with me. If you got 8 out of 10 or better, I would give you a shout out on the show. This week, we up in the ante. You got to get 9 out of 10 of these correct. Let me know. Send me a message on the YouTube comments below. You can email me, DM me, whatever it is, and you will get shouts on the show. If you're a Locked On Tar Heels insider, you can message me there as well. Coach, here's how it's going to work. We are going to go through this. Let me give you the question first so everyone can start thinking about it. And then if you want to pause and play along with us. Here's the question. Name North Carolina's leading scorer each of the past 10 seasons. And Coach, that's by points per game, not by total points. I don't know if that'll be a factor, but I just wanted to make sure to set that. What we'll do is go all the way through, get our 10 answers, and then go back and see how many we got correct. So we'll go through it that way. Here's the other thing. I've got a coin here, a trusty nickel. We're going to flip it to determine whether we start at the most recent season and work backwards or go all the way back to the beginning and work forward. So heads means we start at 24-25 and work backwards. Tails is we go back to 2015-16 and work forwards. You ready? Here we go. It is. Nice head movement. I wish we had lined that up. Now we look dumb. You know what? It just slid off my hand. So we're going to do it again, and you can actually do your little head thing as it goes in the air. 3, 2, 1. Whee! It is. I don't know what that is. Heads. It's heads. So we start at 24-25, and we're going to work our way backwards. All right, folks, if you want to play along, pause it or just play along with us. Get your 10 answers and see how you do. Coach, what is your first thought on 24-25?
I would think RJ Davis would be the guy.
I feel like it's got to be, right? Like, I know he had a little bit of a tough year, but memory serves that he was still the leading scorer. I'm with you. Let's go RJ for 24-25. What about 23-24?
RJ Davis.
Yeah, I mean, we got to double down. He was the ACC player of the year. There's no way he wasn't the leading scorer. In fact, I think, insanity. All right. RJ back-to-back those years. Let's go to 2022-23. This is the year that Carolina missed the NCAA tournament. This is the Pete Nance year, that whole crew. Who do you think for that one?
I'd like to hear your guess now. I got the last two.
Okay, fair. I think it's Caleb Love.
I think that's probably true.
Yeah,
He did average just more than, yeah, that sounds about right.
because that's the year before he went to Arizona, so he's definitely on that team, and he took the vast majority of shots, so I got to imagine he was the leading scorer on that team.
Way too many shots. You're correct, yes.
Yeah, okay. Let's go back to 2021-22. This is the run to the national championship game where Carolina fell just short against Kansas. Coach, where my brain goes first is this is the Iron 5 season, so it's got to be one of those 5 starters, which would be RJ Davis, Caleb Love, Brady Manick, Leaky at the 3, and Armando at the 5. I feel like it's not Leaky. I feel like it's got to be one of the other 4, right?
Right. I feel like that was a big year for Armando.
Yep.
Not sure. Again, guards take more shots than bigs. They usually end up averaging more points. I don't think
it's RJ. Yeah.
No, I don't think it's RJ either. I think Brady didn't really. He started slow. I don't think he wasn't even starting.
He wasn't. It was Dawson Garcia till he got hurt. So I think it comes down to Armando or Caleb.
Yeah.
Ooh.
In my, it's RJ.
Say it again.
But in my mind, I would think it's RJ just because of shot attempts.
Yeah.
But I thought Armando had a big year that year, though, too.
Yeah, it's got to be Armando or Caleb. Let's go Mondo. Why not?
All right, we'll try Armando.
And I'll keep Caleb in parentheses so we can laugh at ourselves if we get that wrong. Okay, 2020-21. This is Coach Williams' last season. So this would be like RJ and Caleb's freshman year. Kerwin Walton was in the starting lineup over RJ for a while. Mondo was, it might be Mondo again here. They lost to Wisconsin in the first round.
I think it is Armando. That's the best guess I would have at this point.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the COVID year. So this is the Cole Anthony year where Carolina was really bad. Obviously, Cole gets her. I feel like it's got to be Cole Anthony. I know he missed games, but we're doing points per game, not total points. Like the only other person I could even think that it might be like B-Rob or something like that. But I feel like it's Cole.
Got to be Cole Anthony.
And not Garrow. I don't think it was Garrow either, right?
No, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. Okay. 2018-19, Carolina, a 1 seed, falls to Auburn in the Sweet 16, thanks to everyone getting illness in the first round against whoever it was they played. I can't remember. So this is that really kind of killer lineup with Kobe White, with Cam Johnson, Luke May. You had Nasir Little coming off the bench. He really came on late. I don't think it's Nasir, but I feel like it's got to be Kobe or Cam or Luke.
I don't think it's Luke. I would think it's either Kobe or Cam. I would guess Kobe White. That would be my guess.
That's my gut as well. So let's go with that. Okay, the season before that, we referenced it earlier. Was it on this show? No, it was on the show last Thursday where we were talking about sleepers. This was Luke's coming out party, 2017-18. It's the year after the national championship. But you've still got Joel's still on this team, right?
Yeah, I don't think, and again, Luke's great. I don't think he ever led the team in scoring, just from my thinking. I would think Joel Berry would have to be the leading scorer on that team.
I would think so too. I think it's because it wouldn't have been Theo.
No.
It wouldn't have been Kenny. Was Kenny on that team?
I believe so, but no, he wouldn't have been the leading scorer.
Yeah.
Love him to death. He's one of my favorites, but no.
Yep. Okay, let's go back then to the national championship season of 16-17. This would be, it's not Marcus Page, it's not Bryce Johnson. They're both gone because they didn't win. So you've got Joel Berry, you've got Kennedy Meeks and Isaiah Hicks in the front court. Justin Jackson was the ACC Player of the Year this year. Maybe it was him.
That would be my guess.
Is J-Jax?
He played great this summer, by the way.
Did he really?
Yeah, it was fun just to have him back in the gym.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I remember Kennedy having a big year. Like, I don't think it's Isaiah. I think it would be between Justin, Joel, and Kennedy And I think ultimately it's Justin because he was the ACC Player of the Year.
I got the rebound one night for Justin Jackson, Luke May, and Tyler Zeller. That was a highlight, just having to hang out with those guys. Nobody ever complains about your rebounding for them, so just to be able to hang out with those three guys for 10 minutes was nice. But I do think it's Justin Jackson. I think he's, again, that would be my guess.
Yeah, same for me. Okay, let's go back to 2015-16. This is the runner-up season. We don't have to talk about the national championship game. Coach, any thoughts initially on this one?
That's Marcus Page senior year. Is that right?
Yep. And Bryce Johnson senior year.
Yeah. Again, boy, Bryce Johnson had a huge year. I mean, he was
an All-American. He was an All-American, so, right?
To me, it's between those two guys. Honestly, my gut says it's Bryce Johnson.
I think so too. And here's the other thing I remember. Marcus started that year hurt. He didn't play till I think it was the Maryland game in the ACC Big Ten Challenge, maybe. And and I remember because they played in Kansas City, so we drove up to see it in that holiday tournament. And Marcus didn't play. I think Joel Berry started in his place. And then I also remember, Coach, I feel like Marcus kind of had a rough shooting year his senior year. And so between that and what you said about Bryce having such a good year, I feel like it's got to be Bryce.
That's my feeling too.
Okay, we've got our 10 answers. Let's go and see how we did, Coach. Boy, let's just go in the same order that we went through it. Okay. 2024-25, RJ Davis, leading scorer 17.2. Ian was second at 11.9. We're 1 for 1. Way to go, us. Back the previous year, it's got to be RJ, ACC Player of the Year. Yeah, 21.2. Armando second at 14.5. So we're 2 for 2 so far, Coach. Way to go, us. All right, 2022-23 season. We said Caleb Love, the leading scorer, correct? Yes. Woo! This one's close. We had 3 players at over 15 points. Armando, 15.9, RJ, 16.1, and Caleb Love led the way at 16.7. Close one, Coach, but we got it. 3 for 3. All right. The national runner-up season. We were debating between Armando and Caleb Love. We had 3 players at, again, 15 or more points a game. Brady, 15.1, Caleb 15.9, and our answer, Armando Bacot, led the way at 16.3. Coach Rob, 4 for 4 on this bad boy. We are out here killing the game. All right, the 2020-21 season, this is Coach Williams last year. We had said Armando, again, as our leading scorer. He led the way. 12.3 points was Carolina's leading scorer over Caleb and Garrison, who each had 10 points a game. Coach Rob, I didn't think we'd be sitting here at 5 and 5, but we are. It's crazy. All right, let's go back now to 1920. This is as we said, the COVID shortened year, the Cole Anthony year. And as expected, he's the leading scorer at 18.5. Garrow was the second leading scorer at 16.8, Coach. Interesting. Close.
I thought.
Yes. And we thought, I mentioned B-Rob. Okay. Where are we now? We are back at 18-19. This is what I'm worried about. We said Kobe White. Cam Johnson was in the conversation as well. Leading scorer. No. Kobe White, 16.1. Cam Johnson, 16.9. There's our first miss. Dadgummit. All right, we were so close, though, Coach. Perfect run, annihilated. All right, 17-18 season. We said Joel Berry the second. Let's go back and look at it. We debated between Joel and Luke May, Coach. Luke May, 16.9 points a game. Joel, 17.1. 0.2 of a point. We got it right. Way to stick to the guns with Joel Berry, too. We only got 2 more to go. The national championship season of 16-17. We went with ACC Player of the Year. Justin Jackson is the leading scorer, as he was. 18.3. Joel was second at 14.7. That means we are 8 of 9. And the 16-17 season, we debated between Bryce Johnson and Marcus Page. And Coach, boy, did we make the right call. Marcus was actually third leading scorer on this team at 12.6. Second was Joel at 12.8. Bryce, 17 points a game, blew everyone else out of the water. So Coach Rob, 9 out of 10 on this thing. Look, pats on the back, victory, all of that good stuff. How do you feel about our performance here?
That was pretty good for not knowing, even the question when I walked in the office today. So
honestly,
it's big time. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. Your brain's better than you thought it was. And honestly, even the one we missed, the Kobe White, we were so close within a point of it. Great stuff there. All right, gang, we want to know how you did. Let us know whether you get shouts or not. We want to know how you did. But if you got 9 out of 10 or better, I'm going to give you a shout out on the show later this week. Make sure to let us know. Coach, great show. I love a good game show. Thanks for being game for it. Always a blast. If you haven't subscribed to the show on video and audio, make sure you do that now. If you don't have Coach's book, you better pick it up before you miss out on a great time. And if you haven't joined the Locked On Tar Heels Discord or the Insiders, that link's in the show notes, and we'd love to see you there. It's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll talk again tomorrow, but until then, peace.